A sick Mustang was tied to a tree as wolf bait, but what happened next was unbelievable. In the unforgiving wilderness of Wyoming's Thunder Basin, a heartbreaking scene unfolds. A once majestic Mustang, now weakened and abandoned, stands tethered to a lonely pine tree as the haunting howls of wolves echo through the gathering dusk. But fate has something extraordinary in store, a twist that will challenge everything we know about survival, compassion, and the incredible bonds that can form in the most desperate of circumstances. Stay with us for an unforgettable tale of hope that defies all odds. The harsh Wyoming wind whips across the Thunder Basin as the sun dips below the jagged horizon, painting the sky in deep purples and amber hues. Snowflakes begin to dance through the air, a reminder that winter's grip is tightening its hold on this rugged landscape. Among the scattered pine trees and rocky outcrops, a solitary figure catches the last rays of daylight. A Mustang, once. Proud and strong, now barely able to stand. The horse's ribs protrude beneath a dull coat, its head hanging low with exhaustion. A crude rope bites into its neck, binding it to an ancient pine tree that offers no shelter from the approaching storm. Each labored breath creates small clouds in the frigid air, a visible reminder of the life still fighting within this broken creature. Curtis Reed stands nearby, adjusting his worn leather gloves with practiced indifference. His weathered face shows no emotion as he surveys his handiwork, the rope secure enough to ensure the horse won't escape its grim fate. The ranch owner's decision wasn't made lightly, but with mounting debts and a harsh winter ahead, he can't afford to waste resources on a sick horse that wandered onto his land 3 days ago. "The wolves will make quick work of you," he mutters, his voice carried away by the whistling wind. "Better than watching you starve." He turns away, boots crunching through the fresh snow as he heads toward his waiting truck. The Mustang watches him go with eyes that hold no reproach, only a quiet resignation to its fate. As darkness descends, the first howls begin. They start distant, echoing off the rocky cliffs, but gradually draw closer. The Mustang's ears twitch at each sound, but it lacks the strength to show any other response. The rope prevents it from even seeking shelter behind the tree's thick trunk. The moon rises, casting long shadows through the pine branches. The wolves' calls grow bolder, closer, their hungry voices carrying promises of the feast to come. The Mustang's breaths grow shorter, more rapid, as yellow eyes begin to appear in the darkness between the trees. But fate has other plans for this night. A sharp crack pierces the darkness, not the report of a rifle, but the sound of a camera shutter. The wolves pause their approach, and a beam of light cuts through the gloom. Marcus Sullivan lowers a camera, his experienced eyes taking in the scene before him. The wildlife photographer had been tracking the local wolf pack, hoping to capture their hunting patterns. But this was something else entirely. "What in God's name?" he breathes, slinging his camera aside and reaching for the hunting knife at his belt. The Mustang flinches at his approach, but Marcus keeps his movements slow, deliberate. "Easy now," he soothes, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm not here to hurt you." The wolves growl their disapproval as Marcus approaches their intended prey. His border collie, Scout, positions himself between his master and the predators, his own low growl a warning they seem to understand. Marcus works quickly but carefully, sawing through the rope while keeping one eye on the wolf pack. The Mustang sways as the rope falls away, its legs trembling with the effort of staying upright. Marcus catches its weight as it stumbles, surprised by how light the horse feels beneath its thick winter coat. "You're nothing but skin and bones," he murmurs, running a practiced hand along its neck. "But we'll fix that." The wolves circle closer, their hunger overriding their natural caution. Marcus reaches for the flare gun in his photography bag. He's spent enough time in the wilderness to come prepared. The bright red burst sends the predators scattering, their shadows disappearing into the trees like smoke in the wind. Getting the horse back to his cabin proves to be a challenge. The storm is picking up, the temperature dropping rapidly as more snow begins to fall. Marcus fashions a makeshift harness from his camera straps and rope, using it to help support the Mustangs. Wait. Scout leads the way, his black and white coat almost invisible in the swirling snow. The journey takes hours, each step a battle against the elements and exhaustion. The Mustang stumbles frequently but never gives up, somehow sensing that this difficult trek is its path to survival. Marcus talks constantly, his voice providing a lifeline for the horse to follow through the darkness and driving snow. Finally, the warm glow of cabin windows appears through the storm. Marcus has lived here for years, choosing solitude after leaving behind a successful career in rodeo riding. His small homestead isn't much, but it's warm, dry, and safe. Everything the Mustang desperately needs. The old barn beside the cabin becomes a sanctuary. Marcus works through the night, cleaning the horse's wounds, offering small sips of water and creating a bed of fresh straw. Scout keeps watch from the barn door, his presence a comfort to both man and horse. "Storm," Marcus says suddenly, watching as another gust of wind rattles the barn's wooden walls. "That's what I'll call you. Found you in one, didn't I? And you're sure as hell weathering it like a champion." The next few days establish a routine. Marcus divides his time between caring for Storm and making trips into the nearest town for supplies. Sarah Miller, the local veterinarian, makes the long drive out to the cabin when Marcus describes the horse's condition. Her diagnosis is grim, but not hopeless. Severe malnutrition, exposure, and what looks like an untreated respiratory infection. She explains, gently examining Storm's chest. But Mustangs are tough. With proper care, he's got a fighting chance. Marcus throws himself into Storm's recovery with the same dedication he once gave to rodeo training. He spends hours in the barn, treating the horse's ailments, talking softly, rebuilding the trust that humans had broken. Storm responds slowly but surely, his eyes growing brighter, his coat beginning to regain its natural shine. But their peace is shattered one crisp morning when a truck appears on the snow-covered road to the cabin. Curtis Reed steps out, flanked by his ranch hand, Tom Bradley. Their boots crunch on the frozen ground as they approach the barn. "That's my horse," Curtis calls out, his voice carrying an edge of authority. "Went missing from my south pasture 2 weeks ago. I've been looking all over for him." Marcus steps out of the barn, positioning himself between the men and Storm. "Funny way of looking," he replies coolly. "I found him tied to a tree, left as wolf bait." Scout growls softly at his side, sensing the tension in his master's voice. Curtis's face darkens. "You got proof of that? Because I've got registration papers that say that horse belongs to me. Sheriff Henderson will back me up on that." "Registration papers for a wild Mustang." Marcus's voice drips with skepticism. "That's interesting. Maybe we should ask the BLM about that." The confrontation ends in a stalemate, but Marcus knows it's far from over. He spends the next few days reinforcing the barn, installing better locks, setting up motion sensor lights. Storm seems to sense the danger, growing restless in his stall, his newly regained strength making him eager to move. Curtis returns a week later with more men and a horse trailer. This time he has papers, possibly forged, but papers nonetheless. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be," he warns, but Marcus stands his ground. What follows is a testament to the bonds that can form between humans and animals. As Curtis's men attempt to force their way into the barn, Storm breaks free from his stall. But instead of running away, the Mustang charges toward the intruders, his powerful presence forcing them back. Scout adds to the chaos, nipping at heels and creating confusion. Marcus uses the distraction to reach the satellite phone in his cabin, calling not the local sheriff, but federal authorities. As it turns out, the BLM has been investigating Curtis Reed for multiple violations involving wild horses. The situation resolves itself in a flurry of official vehicles and badges, Curtis and his men leaving in handcuffs rather than with the horse they came to claim. But the real victory comes later that evening, as Marcus sits in the barn, watching Storm eat with healthy appetite. "You're free to go, you know," he tells the horse, opening the barn doors to reveal the wild landscape beyond. "That's what you are, free." Storm walks to the doorway, his muscular frame no longer showing signs of his ordeal. He looks out at the open space, the same lands where Marcus found him all those weeks ago. But instead of running, the Mustang turns back, gently nudging Marcus's shoulder with his nose. Sometimes it seems freedom isn't about where you can go, but where you choose to stay. Today, Storm remains at Marcus's cabin, though the barn doors always stay open. He comes and goes as he pleases, sometimes disappearing into the wilderness, for days at a time, but always returning. Marcus continues his wildlife photography, with Storm often appearing in the background of his shots. A living reminder that even in our darkest moments, hope can arrive in unexpected forms. If this story touched your heart, preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time. So if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. Remember that there are many animals out there still waiting for their second chance. Like, subscribe, and share this video to spread awareness about animal rescue and the incredible bonds that can form between humans and animals. Together, we can make a difference, one story at a time. Remember, courage isn't just about surviving. It's about learning to trust again after betrayal, finding strength in unlikely friendships, and choosing love over fear. Storm's journey from death's door to freedom is more than just a tale of survival. It's a testament to the extraordinary capacity for healing that exists in all living beings. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to never miss another inspiring story of hope, courage, and the unbreakable bonds between humans and animals. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that even in our darkest moments, miracles can happen. Until next time, keep believing in second chances. The morning sun filters through the weathered slats of Marcus's barn, casting golden stripes across Storm's recovering form. 3 weeks have passed since that fateful night in the wilderness, and the Mustang's transformation is nothing short of miraculous. His coat, though still bearing the marks of his ordeal, has begun to regain its natural luster, and his eyes now hold a spark of life that grows stronger with each passing day. Marcus sits on an overturned bucket, reviewing the photographs he took during Storm's rescue. Each image tells a part of their story, from the desperate scene at the tree to the long journey through the snowstorm. Scout, his faithful border collie, rests at his feet, occasionally lifting his head to check on Storm. The bond between the dog and horse had formed almost instantly, as if Scout somehow understood the depth of Storm's suffering. A knock at the barn door breaks the morning quiet. Rachel Thompson, a local ranch hand known for her way with difficult horses, stands in the doorway. Her weathered face breaks into a smile as she takes in the scene before her. "Sarah Miller told me about your rescue," she says, stepping inside. "Thought you might want another set of eyes on him." Marcus welcomes the help. Rachel's reputation with horses is well earned, and her experience could prove invaluable. She approaches Storm slowly, her movements deliberate and calm. The Mustang watches her with interest rather than fear, a sign of his growing trust in humans. "He's carrying himself differently now," Rachel observes, noting how Storm distributes his weight. Whatever they did to him before, it affected his whole way of moving, but he's relearning, adapting. She runs experienced hands along his legs, checking for signs of lasting damage. You've done good work here, Marcus. Most wouldn't have given him a chance. Their conversation is interrupted by the sound of approaching vehicles. Through the barn door, they see 3 trucks pulling up to the cabin, their engines cutting through the morning peace. Curtis Reed steps out of the lead vehicle, followed by 2 men Marcus doesn't recognize. The rancher's face is set in hard lines as he approaches the barn. "Thought I might find Rachel here," Curtis calls out, his voice carrying an edge of accusation. Word travels fast in small towns. He stops at the barn entrance, his eyes fixed on Storm. "That horse is still my property, Sullivan. Local law's pretty clear about found livestock." Rachel steps forward, positioning herself between Curtis and Storm. "Is that right, Curtis? Because I seem to recall you telling Joe Baker last month that you'd lost no horses this season. Strange thing to say if you're claiming ownership now." The confrontation takes an unexpected turn as one of Curtis's companions shifts uncomfortably. "Mr. Reed," he says, clearing his throat, "I should mention I'm here officially, Game and Fish Department." He produces a badge, his expression troubled. "We've had reports about suspicious activities involving wild horses in this area. Your name's come up more than once." Curtis's face darkens, but before he can respond, another vehicle appears on the road, a tribal police car from the nearby reservation. 2 officers step out, including Sam White Eagle, known throughout the region for his work protecting wild horses on tribal lands. "Perfect timing," Sam says, approaching the group. "We've been wanting to talk to you, Curtis. Seems some of our tagged horses have been disappearing near your property. Strange coincidence, wouldn't you say?" The situation quickly evolves beyond a simple ownership dispute. As the officers begin questioning Curtis, Rachel quietly leads Marcus and Storm away from the barn. "This has been building for a while," she explains in hushed tones. "Curtis isn't just taking wild horses. He's been running an operation across 3 counties, using old ranch laws as cover." They move Storm to a corral behind the barn, where he can be safe from the unfolding confrontation. The Mustang seems to sense the tension, staying close to Marcus while Scout maintains a protective vigil. Rachel shares more of what she knows. Stories of horses disappearing, of suspicious night operations, of damaged fences and altered brands. As the morning progresses, more authorities arrive. The Game and Fish officers' initial questions have opened a floodgate of investigations. Curtis's companions distance themselves from him, one of them openly cooperating with the officers. Sam White Eagle takes statements, his years of experience with horse theft cases evident in his methodical approach. Marcus provides his photographs and documentation of Storm's condition, each image adding to the growing evidence against Curtis. Rachel's testimony about local horse disappearances proves crucial, her reputation lending weight to the investigation. Storm watches the proceedings from his corral, his presence a living testament to the cruelty they're working to expose. The Mustang's recovery represents not just one horse saved, but the potential to prevent countless others from suffering the same fate. By afternoon, Curtis Reed is facing multiple charges. The investigation has expanded beyond Storm, encompassing a pattern of illegal activities that spans years. Sam White Eagle explains that they've been building this case for months, waiting for the right moment to act. "Your rescue of Storm gave us the opening we needed," he tells Marcus. "Sometimes it takes one act of compassion to bring down an entire operation of cruelty." As the law enforcement vehicles depart with Curtis in custody, Rachel stays behind to help Marcus with Storm. The Mustang has remained calm throughout the day's events, a far cry from the terrified creature Marcus had found in the wilderness. He knows he's safe now, Rachel observes, watching as Storm grazes peacefully in the corral. Horses don't forget cruelty, but they can learn to trust again if given the chance. The following days bring more changes. Officials from the Bureau of Land Management arrive to document Storm's case as part of a larger investigation into wild horse theft. Their presence turns Marcus's remote cabin into an impromptu headquarters for building cases against other suspected operations. Rachel becomes a regular visitor, her expertise with horses proving invaluable as Storm continues his recovery. She helps Marcus understand the subtle signs of the Mustang's healing, not just physical, but emotional as well. Under their combined care, Storm begins to show more of his true personality, revealing an intelligence and gentleness that his previous trauma had hidden. Sam White Eagle returns with news from the tribal lands. More horses rescued, more operations shut down. The evidence gathered from Curtis's arrest has created a domino effect, exposing a network of illegal activities across the region. He brings with him stories of other successful rehabilitations, giving Marcus and Rachel hope for Storm's continued recovery. As spring approaches, Storm's transformation becomes more evident. His coat gleams in the sunlight, his muscles regaining their strength. He moves with increasing confidence, though he never strays far from the cabin. Scout remains his constant companion, the unlikely friendship between horse and dog growing stronger each day. Rachel suggests that Storm might be ready for more interaction with other horses. She brings her own mare, a gentle quarter horse named Willow, to the property. The introduction is careful, controlled, but Storm surprises them all with his social grace. It's as if he remembers who he was before. His ordeal, a proud social creature capable of forming bonds. The success with Willow leads to more interactions. Sam White Eagle arranges for some of the rescued tribal horses to be brought to Marcus's land, creating a small herd that helps Storm reconnect with his natural instincts. The Mustang moves among them with growing confidence, sometimes leading, sometimes following, but always returning to the cabin he now considers home. Marcus continues his photography, documenting Storm's journey from victim to survivor. His images catch the attention of wild horse advocacy groups, who see in Storm's story a powerful testament to both the cruelty these animals face and their capacity for recovery. Rachel helps organize educational programs, bringing in school groups to learn about wild horse preservation. Storm becomes an ambassador of sorts, his gentle demeanor with children belying his traumatic past. Each visit helps spread awareness about the importance of protecting wild horses and the consequences of human cruelty. One evening, as the sun sets behind the mountains, Marcus watches Storm standing at the edge of his property. A wild herd passes in the distance, their movements free and unrestricted. Storm lifts his head, catching their scent on the wind, but makes no move to join them. Instead, he turns back toward the cabin, where Scout waits on the porch and Rachel is preparing his evening feed. "He's chosen his herd," Rachel says softly, coming to stand beside Marcus. "Sometimes the family you find is stronger than the one you're born to." The night brings a spring storm, but Storm shows no fear of the thunder. He stands in his stall, strong and secure, while Scout dozes nearby. Marcus reflects on how far they've come from that winter night when he found a dying horse in the wilderness. Their journey has become more than just a rescue. It's a testament to the healing power of compassion and the strength of unexpected connections. Rachel stays late, helping Marcus plan for the future. They discuss expanding the rehabilitation program, using Storm's success as a model for helping other rescued horses. Sam White Eagle has already asked about using Marcus's land as a way station for horses recovered from illegal operations. As the storm passes and the stars emerge, Storm's silhouette is visible in the barn doorway. He stands tall and strong, his presence a reminder that even the deepest wounds can heal with time and care. The Mustang's journey from near death to vibrant life has changed not just his own fate, but the lives of all those around him. The next morning brings news that more arrests have been made in connection with Curtis Reed's operation. The network of illegal horse trafficking is unraveling, thanks in part to the evidence that began with Storm's rescue. Sam White Eagle arrives with updates, his usual stoic expression softened by satisfaction. Rachel works with Storm in the corral, teaching him to trust the touch of hands that heal rather than harm. The Mustang's intelligence shines through as he learns, his willingness to try new things growing with his confidence. Scout watches from his post, tail wagging whenever Storm masters a new lesson. The spring sun warms the land, bringing new growth and possibilities. Storm stands in the morning light, his coat gleaming, his eyes bright with life and trust. He has become more than just a rescued horse. He's a symbol of resilience, a testament to the power of compassion, and a reminder that sometimes the darkest moments can lead to the most unexpected light. Thunder Basin awakens to the first true spring morning, the landscape transformed by the changing season. Wildflowers dot the meadows surrounding Marcus's cabin, their vibrant colors a stark contrast to the winter's monochrome palette. Storm stands at the crest of a small hill, his restored frame silhouetted against the rising sun. The morning light catches his coat, revealing hints of copper and gold that had been hidden during his darkest days. Marcus emerges from the cabin, his camera bag slung over one shoulder. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter in their journey. The Bureau of Land Management has asked him to document other wild horse herds in the region using his experience, with Storm to help identify signs of illegal roundups and interference. Scout trots at his heels, the border collie's enthusiasm undimmed by age. Sarah Miller's truck appears on the horizon, right on schedule. She's been joining Marcus on these documentation expeditions, her veterinary expertise proving invaluable in assessing the health of wild herds from a distance. The partnership that began with Storm's rescue has evolved into something deeper, their shared mission bringing them closer with each passing day. "Ready for this?" Sarah asks, climbing down from her truck. She's dressed for a long day in the field, her dark hair pulled back practically, a pair of binoculars hanging around her neck. Storm approaches her with familiar affection, nickering softly as she checks his condition out of habit. Marcus shoulders his camera equipment, double-checking his lenses. "Got word from Kate running deer yesterday. They've identified 3 new areas where horses have been disappearing. The pattern's changing, they're getting more sophisticated." The news settles heavily between them. Despite the successful prosecution of Curtis Reed and his associates, other operations have emerged to fill the void. The demand for wild horses hasn't diminished, and where there's profit to be made, there are always those willing to exploit. They set out as the sun climbs higher, Storm choosing to accompany them. The Mustang seems to understand the importance of their work, often leading them to remote watering holes and hidden meadows where wild herds gather. Scout ranges ahead, his black and white coat flashing through the spring grass. The first herd. The encounter shows no signs of tampering. The horses move with natural wariness, but display none of the fear that marks survivors of roundups. Marcus photographs them methodically, documenting numbers, conditions, and distinguishing marks. Sarah makes notes in her field journal, her experienced eye catching details that others might miss. Storm keeps his distance from the wild horses, but his presence seems to reassure them. Perhaps they sense his unique status, neither fully wild nor truly domesticated, but something in between, a bridge between two worlds. The day progresses, and they move deeper into the basin. The landscape changes subtly, rolling meadows giving way to more rugged terrain. Here, the signs they've been looking for begin to appear. A section of fence damaged in a way that would funnel running horses into a natural trap. Tire tracks that don't belong to rangers or authorized personnel. And most telling, the absence of young foals in a season when they should be abundant. Sarah kneels to examine something in the grass, a tranquilizer dart, its presence telling a disturbing story. They're not just running them down anymore, she says, carefully bagging the evidence. They're drugging them. It's more efficient, leaves less obvious trauma. Marcus photographs the scene, his jaw tight with anger. The sophistication of these operations makes them harder to detect and prove. Traditional roundups left clear evidence: injured horses, damaged terrain, multiple witnesses. This new method is insidious, designed to make horses simply vanish. Storm suddenly raises his head, ears pricked forward. In the distance, they hear the distinctive sound of a helicopter. It's too low for normal flight patterns, moving in a way that suggests purpose rather than transit. Marcus and Sarah exchange glances. Unauthorized aircraft have become a new tool in the horse thieves' arsenal. They move quickly to a concealed position, using the natural terrain for cover. Marcus switches to his longest lens, capturing clear images of the helicopter's identification numbers. Sarah uses her binoculars to track its movement pattern, noting how it seems to be herding something they can't yet see. The sound of running hooves reaches them before they spot the source. A small band of wild horses bursts into view, driven by the helicopter's threatening presence. They're being pushed toward the damaged section of fence they'd discovered earlier, where vehicles undoubtedly wait on the other side. Storm watches the scene unfold, his muscles tensing as if ready to intervene. But Marcus and Sarah know they can't directly interfere. Their evidence would be compromised, and they'd likely face charges themselves. Instead, they document everything, building a case that will stand up in court. The helicopter makes another pass, but something unexpected happens. The lead mare of the wild band suddenly changes direction, taking her herd away from the trap. It's as if she's encountered this tactic before and learned from it. The horses disappear into a narrow canyon where the helicopter can't safely follow. Their frustration evident, the aircraft's operators are forced to abandon their attempt. Marcus continues photographing as the helicopter retreats, capturing every detail that might help identify its operators. Sarah's already on the phone to BLM enforcement, reporting the incident and coordinating a response. As the sound of rotors fades, Storm approaches the area where the wild horses had fled. He stands at the canyon entrance, head high, nostrils flaring. For a moment, Marcus sees him as he must have been before his ordeal, proud, free, part of a band, much like the one they just witnessed. The rest of the day is spent gathering evidence. They document hoofprints, tire tracks, and the modified fence section. Sarah collects more discarded darts, each one carefully logged and bagged. The morning's beautiful spring weather has given way to overcast skies, matching the somber nature of their discoveries. Back at the cabin, Kate Running Deer arrives to collect their evidence. The lawyer's presence has become more frequent as the investigation expands. She views the photos and samples with grim satisfaction, each piece adding to the larger puzzle they're assembling. The prosecutor's office is building a RICO case, she explains, organizing the day's findings. These aren't isolated incidents anymore. We're looking at an organized criminal enterprise. Multiple states, multiple players, serious money involved. Storm watches from the barn doorway as they work, his restored strength a reminder of what's at stake. Each horse they save from these operations represents a potential success story like his. But for every storm, how many others suffer unseen? The next morning brings unexpected visitors. Two representatives from a wild horse sanctuary arrive, interested in establishing a rehabilitation program for rescued horses. They've heard of Storm's story and want to learn from Marcus's experience. Sarah joins the discussion, her veterinary insights proving invaluable. As they talk, Storm grazes nearby, occasionally lifting his head to watch. The sanctuary workers are impressed by his condition, the way he chooses to stay despite having every opportunity to return to the wild. Marcus explains his philosophy. That true rehabilitation isn't about controlling the horses, but about giving them the strength and confidence to make their own choices. The conversation turns to practical matters. The sanctuary wants to establish a network of safe properties where recovered horses can heal, similar to Marcus's setup. They discuss logistics, medical protocols, and the delicate balance between helping the horses and preserving their wild nature. Storm's example proves invaluable as they plan. His journey from near death to vibrant life offers insights into what works and what doesn't. Sarah shares her medical records, demonstrating how proper care can help even severely traumatized horses recover. As the day progresses, they witness a perfect illustration of their discussion. A wild band appears at the creek near the cabin, drawn by the water and good grazing. Storm approaches them with quiet confidence, neither threatening nor submissive. The wild horses accept his presence, creating a scene that bridges the gap between domestic and wild. The sanctuary workers watch in amazement as Storm moves between both worlds with ease. He demonstrates what they're all working toward: horses that are healthy and whole, free to choose their path. Marcus captures the interaction with his camera, adding to his growing documentation of Storm's ongoing story. That evening, after the visitors leave, Marcus sits on the cabin porch with Sarah. Scout lies at their feet while Storm grazes nearby, the setting sun painting the scene in warm colors. They discuss the day's events, the plans taking shape, the hope for more success stories like Storm's. "We're changing things," Sarah says softly, watching Storm. "Slowly maybe, but it's happening. Each piece of evidence, each rescued horse, each new ally, it all adds up." Marcus nods, thinking of how far they've come from that winter night when he found a dying horse tied to a tree. Their work has expanded beyond saving one life. They're now part of a larger movement, a growing network of people committed to protecting these magnificent animals. Storm approaches the porch, his footsteps sure and confident. He stands before them, a living testament to resilience and healing. The light catches his eyes, revealing the intelligence and strength that survived his darkest moments. In his presence, Marcus and Sarah find renewed determination to continue their work. The night brings the sound of distant thunder, but Storm shows no fear. He's learned that not all storms bring danger. Sometimes they herald new beginnings. Marcus watches as the Mustang makes his way to the barn, where Scout is already waiting. Their unlikely family has become a symbol of hope for others working to protect wild horses. Sarah prepares to leave, gathering her notes and equipment. Before she goes, she pauses to check on Storm one last time. A habit born of care, rather. The necessity now. The Mustang's recovery is complete, but their journey continues. Every day brings new challenges, new horses to save, new battles to fight. As her truck disappears down the road, Marcus reflects on the changes Storm has brought to their lives. The sick, desperate horse he found in the wilderness has become a bridge between worlds, helping them understand both the wild and domestic aspects of these remarkable animals. The spring night settles over Thunder Basin, bringing with it the promise of tomorrow's work. In the barn, Storm rests peacefully, his presence a reminder that even the darkest circumstances can lead to unexpected light. Their story continues to unfold, touching more lives, saving more horses, and proving that compassion and dedication can transform not just individual lives, but entire communities. Summer arrives in Thunder Basin, bringing long golden days and the sweet scent of sage on the warm breeze. Marcus's cabin has transformed from a solitary outpost to a bustling sanctuary. Where once only Scout kept watch, Now a small herd of rescued horses grazes in the expanded pasture. At their center stands Storm, his powerful frame a testament to the healing power of time and care. The morning routine has evolved with their growing family. Marcus moves through the pasture, checking each horse while documenting their recovery progress. His photography skills serve a dual purpose now, capturing evidence for ongoing investigations while creating a visual record of each success story. Storm follows close behind, having appointed himself assistant caretaker of the new arrivals. Today brings a special visitor. Dr. Maya Chen, a renowned equine behavioral specialist, has traveled from California to study Storm's remarkable rehabilitation. Her research focuses on trauma recovery in wild horses, and Storm's journey from near death to herd leader has caught her attention. His case is unique, Maya explains, observing Storm's interaction with a newly rescued mare. Most horses who experience that level of trauma remain permanently altered, but Storm hasn't just recovered. He's thriving in a way that defies conventional understanding. Marcus watches as Storm gently guides the nervous mare toward the water trough. His body language, a perfect balance of confidence and patience. Scout trots alongside them, his presence seeming to reassure the newcomer. The Border Collie has become an essential part of their rehabilitation program, his calm energy helping frightened horses adjust to their new environment. Maya takes detailed notes, her expert eye catching subtle nuances in Storm's behavior. He's not just leading by dominance, she observes. He's actually teaching them. Watch how he waits, how he adjusts his approach based on each horse's response. This is incredibly sophisticated social behavior. Their discussion is interrupted by the arrival of a pickup truck pulling a horse trailer. Josh Martinez, one of their regular collaborators from the local tribal wildlife office, steps out with urgent news. They've intercepted another illegal transport operation, and they need immediate placement for 3 rescued horses. Marcus and Maya spring into action, preparing the quarantine paddock they maintain for new arrivals. Storm watches intently as the trailer is carefully backed into position. His ears prick forward with interest, but he maintains his distance, seeming to understand the delicate nature of these moments. The horses that emerge from the trailer tell a familiar story of neglect and abuse. 2 mares and a young stallion, their ribs visible beneath dull coats, eyes wide with fear. Josh shares what they know. The horses were part of a group being smuggled across state lines, destined for underground auctions where documentation is never questioned. Maya's presence proves invaluable as they begin the intake process. Her experience with traumatized horses helps them navigate the critical first hours. She notices signs others might miss, the way one mare favors her left leg, how the stallion flinches at sudden movements. Storm's behavior during this time demonstrates why his case has drawn such attention. Without prompting, he positions himself where the new arrivals can see him, but at a distance that doesn't threaten them. He grazes calmly, occasionally lifting his head to softly nicker in their direction. It's a masterclass in equine diplomacy. He's showing them it's safe, Maya explains, her voice filled with professional admiration. More than that, he's demonstrating normal behavior, eating, drinking, relaxing, things that trauma can make them forget how to do. The day unfolds with careful attention to the newcomer's needs. Sarah Miller arrives to perform initial health checks, her gentle approach earning cautious acceptance from the frightened horses. Josh helps document their condition, building evidence for the ongoing investigation into their abusers. As evening approaches, the new arrivals begin to settle. The young stallion is the first to approach the water trough, encouraged by Storm's example. The mares follow shortly after, their initial panic giving way to exhausted relief. Scout maintains his vigilant patrol of the perimeter, his presence a constant reminder that this is a protected space. Maya stays late into the evening, fascinated by the unfolding dynamics. She and Marcus discuss the broader implications of what they're witnessing. Storm's success might hold keys to improving rehabilitation programs across the country. His method of leading by example, of teaching rather than dominating, challenges traditional approaches to working with traumatized horses. The night brings a gentle rain, and Marcus finds himself reflecting on how much has changed. What began as one desperate rescue has evolved into something far larger. The cabin's spare room has become an office, its walls covered with photographs documenting each horse's journey. Files track their progress, tell their stories, build cases against those who would harm them. Dawn reveals new progress. The young stallion has moved closer to Storm's usual grazing spot, while the mares have begun mimicking Storm's calm approaches to the water trough. Maya arrives early, eager to document these developments. Her presence has added a new dimension to their work, helping them understand the science behind what they've been doing instinctively. The morning's documentation is interrupted by an unexpected visit from Kate Running Deer. The lawyer brings news that sends ripples through their small community. The evidence they've been gathering, combined with similar cases across 3 states, has led to a federal task force being formed. Their local effort is about to become part of a much larger operation. They want to use Storm's case as a template, Kate explains, spreading documents across Marcus's kitchen table. His recovery, the documentation methods you've developed, the way you've built evidence chains, it's exactly what they need to make larger cases stick. Maya's expertise adds weight to their discussion. Her research can help quantify the impact of abuse on wild horses, strengthening the legal arguments for stronger protection measures. She shares stories of similar cases from other regions, helping them understand how their work fits into a national pattern. Storm watches their meeting through the kitchen window, his powerful frame a living testament to the importance of their work. Scout lies at his feet, their unlikely friendship another example of how healing can take unexpected forms. The young stallion has ventured closer, drawn by Storm's confident calm. As the day progresses, Marcus works with Josh to expand their documentation system. Maya's insights help them identify key behavioral markers to track, while Kate advises on what details will matter most in court. Their collaborative effort is creating a model that others can follow, turning one horse's rescue into a roadmap for systemic change. Sarah arrives in the afternoon, bringing supplies and updates from other rehabilitation sites. The network they've built continues to grow, each success story adding to their collective knowledge. She takes time to check on the newcomers, pleased with their progress after just 24 hours in sanctuary. The evening brings another milestone. The young stallion finally accepts a handful of hay from Marcus, Storm standing nearby, as if lending his confidence to the moment. Maya captures the interaction on video, her commentary noting the subtle ways Storm has influenced this breakthrough. Night falls over Thunder Basin, but the work continues. Marcus updates their case files, while Maya prepares notes for her research paper. Through the office window, they can see Storm standing watch over his expanding herd, his silhouette strong against the rising moon. The next day brings new challenges and opportunities. A film crew arrives, working on a documentary about wild horse preservation. They've heard about Storm's story and want to feature the sanctuary's rehabilitation program. Marcus is initially hesitant. Their work has always been about the horses, not publicity, but Maya helps him see the bigger picture. Your methods here, especially Storm's role in rehabilitation, need to be shared, she argues. Think of how many horses could be helped if other sanctuaries adopted these techniques. Storm, as if understanding the importance of the moment, performs his role perfectly. The cameras capture his gentle guidance of the newcomers, his patient teaching, his quiet strength. The young stallion's growing confidence provides a perfect illustration of their success. Josh brings more news from the tribal lands, 2 more operations shut down, more horses saved. The evidence they've gathered has helped secure search warrants, leading to arrests and rescues. Each success builds momentum for their cause. Kate arrives with updates on the legal front. The federal task force is moving quickly, using their documentation methods to build cases across multiple jurisdictions. Storm's story has become a catalyst for change, proving that with proper evidence and determination, the system can work. The day ends with a small victory celebration. The young stallion accepts his first touch from Sarah, Storm standing nearby like a proud teacher. Maya documents the moment for her research, while the film crew captures it for their documentary. Scout maintains his patrol, his dedication unchanged by their growing success. As night falls, Marcus sits on the cabin porch, reviewing the day's photographs. Storm grazes nearby, his coat gleaming in the last light of day. The transformation from that desperate night in the wilderness to this moment feels almost miraculous. But Marcus knows it's been built on countless small acts of patience, determination, and love. Maya joins him, her notebook filled with observations. "What you've created here," she says quietly, "it's more than a sanctuary. It's a model for change." She gestures towards Storm and his growing family of rescued horses. Each of them carries the potential to change how we approach rehabilitation. The night brings a summer storm, but none of the horses show fear. They've learned that not all dark clouds bring danger, that safety can be found in unexpected places. Storm stands in the rain, his presence a beacon of strength for the others. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new horses needing help, new battles to fight. But tonight, watching Storm stand proud and strong under the storm-dark sky, Marcus knows they're on the right path. One horse's journey from despair to dignity has sparked a movement, proving that even the deepest wounds can heal with time, understanding, and care. Late summer paints Thunder Basin in shades of gold and amber. The morning light catching dew drops on prairie grass. The sanctuary has grown beyond Marcus's initial vision, now hosting a dedicated rehabilitation center where veterinarians and researchers work together to help rescued horses. At its heart, Storm maintains his role as guardian and teacher, his presence a cornerstone of their success. Today brings an unexpected challenge. A young filly, rescued from an abandoned property in Montana, arrives with injuries unlike anything they've encountered before. Marcus watches as Dr. Elena Rodriguez, their newest team member, performs an initial assessment. The filly's legs bear strange marks, evidence of experimental training methods that make his blood run cold. Storm approaches the examination area cautiously, his intuition about new arrivals never failing to impress the staff. He keeps his distance but remains visible, his calm energy seemingly reaching the frightened filly. Scout, ever faithful, maintains his position between the newcomer and the other rescued horses, helping maintain the delicate balance they've cultivated. "These marks," Elena mutters, photographing the injuries, "they match reports from 3 other cases across state lines. Someone's developing new methods of breaking horses, trying to stay ahead of law enforcement identification patterns." She straightens up, her face grim. "We need to document everything. This could be the connection we've been looking for." The filly, despite her injuries, shows remarkable spirit. Her eyes track Storm's movements with increasing interest, drawn to his confident yet gentle demeanor. Marcus recognizes the look. It's the same one Storm had when he first began to trust again, that crucial spark of hope that makes recovery possible. A dust cloud on the horizon announces the arrival of more visitors. 2 trucks appear, carrying representatives from the Intertribal Horse Protection Alliance. Among them is Joseph Running Bear, a respected elder whose traditional knowledge of horse behavior has proved invaluable to their rehabilitation program. Joseph takes in the scene with experienced eyes, noting the filly's defensive posture and Storm's careful positioning. The old ways teach us to listen to what the horses tell us, he says, his voice carrying years of wisdom. Your Storm, he remembers his own healing. Now he teaches others the path back to trust. The morning unfolds with meticulous care. Elena documents each injury, while Joseph shares insights about traditional healing methods that might help the filly's recovery. Storm maintains his vigil, gradually decreasing the distance between himself and the newcomer, demonstrating the patience that has made him such an effective rehabilitation partner. By midday, news arrives that adds urgency to their work. Lisa Chen, their contact at the federal task force, calls with information about a major operation planned for the following week. The evidence they've gathered, combined with similar cases across the region, has led them to what might be the source of the experimental training methods. The sanctuary transforms into a hub of activity. Marcus coordinates with their network of emergency response teams, knowing they'll need to be ready for more rescues. Elena prepares detailed reports about the filly's injuries, her documentation potentially crucial for future prosecutions. Joseph works with other tribal representatives to identify safe transportation routes through their lands. Storm seems to sense the heightened energy, adapting his behavior to maintain calm among the rescued horses. The filly, responding to his example, begins to show interest in her surroundings rather than remaining frozen in fear. It's a small victory, but in their work, every step toward healing matters. Late afternoon brings another development. A wildlife biologist, Dr. James Morrison, arrives to study the interaction patterns Storm has established with the rescued horses. His research focuses on how trauma affects herd dynamics, and the sanctuary's success has caught the attention of the scientific community. What you've achieved here, James explains, watching Storm guide the filly toward the water trough, challenges everything we thought we knew about rehabilitation timelines. The social structure Storm has created acts as a healing catalyst, accelerating recovery in ways we've never seen before. The sanctuary's approach combines multiple disciplines: veterinary medicine, behavioral science, traditional knowledge, and practical experience. Marcus's photography continues to document their progress, creating a visual record that helps others understand their methods. Scout maintains his role as intermediary, his presence often helping horses overcome their fear of human proximity. Evening brings a moment of breakthrough. The filly, following Storm's example, accepts her first gentle touch from Elena. The moment is captured on camera, adding to their growing database of rehabilitation milestones. Joseph nods in approval, seeing in the interaction an echo of ancient partnerships between humans and horses. As darkness falls, the sanctuary settles into its nighttime routine. The rescued horses gather in their preferred groups, a social structure that developed naturally under Storm's influence. The filly remains closer to the treatment area, but her eyes now hold curiosity rather than terror. Marcus reviews the day's photographs with Elena and James, identifying patterns that might help with future cases. Joseph shares stories of how his people have traditionally helped horses recover from trauma, his knowledge adding depth to their scientific understanding. The next morning reveals unexpected progress. The filly has moved closer to Storm's usual grazing area, mimicking his calm, browsing behavior. Elena documents the change, while James takes detailed notes on the social dynamics at play. Scout maintains his protective circuit, his routine unchanged by their expanding operation. A call from Lisa brings new urgency to their work. The planned operation has been moved up. They need to be ready for multiple rescues within 48 hours. The sanctuary buzzes with preparation as they set up additional treatment areas and secure extra supplies. Joseph mobilizes his network of tribal contacts, establishing safe corridors for transporting rescued horses. Elena coordinates with other veterinarians in their network, ensuring they'll have sufficient medical coverage. Storm seems to understand the approaching challenge, his behavior becoming more focused and deliberate. As evening approaches a summer, Storm rolls across Thunder Basin. The rescued horses, once terrified of thunder, remain calm under Storm's influence. The filly watches him, learning that safety can exist even in moments of apparent danger. Scout stays close to the barn, his presence a constant in their evolving sanctuary. The night brings planning meetings and preparation. Marcus works with Elena to optimize their documentation protocols, while James contributes insights about group dynamics that might help with the upcoming rescues. Joseph performs a traditional blessing ceremony, adding spiritual strength to their practical preparations. Dawn reveals a landscape washed clean by the storm, as if nature herself is preparing for their next challenge. Storm stands at the highest point of the pasture, surveying his expanding family of rescued horses. The filly has drawn closer still, her healing journey a mirror of his own path from darkness to light. The sanctuary's evolution continues, each day bringing new challenges and discoveries. What began as one horse's journey to survival has grown into a movement, changing how the world understands equine rehabilitation. Storm's legacy extends beyond his own remarkable recovery, touching countless lives and inspiring others to fight for these magnificent creatures. As the sun climbs higher, Marcus watches Storm guide the filly through her morning routine. Elena's medical expertise, James's scientific observations, Joseph's traditional wisdom, and Scout's unwavering support all contribute to their success. Together, they're creating something extraordinary, a place where healing happens not through force or dominance, but through understanding, patience, and love. The approaching operation weighs heavily on their minds, but they're ready. The sanctuary has grown stronger with each challenge, its methods proven through success after success. Storm continues his quiet work, teaching by example, showing other horses the way back to trust and confidence. Evening finds them making final preparations. The filly, now accepting gentle treatment from Elena, represents their latest victory. Joseph leads a prayer circle, blending traditional ceremony with their modern mission. Storm stands nearby, his presence a reminder of why they fight so hard to save these magnificent animals. As night falls over Thunder Basin, the sanctuary holds its breath, ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Storm keeps his vigil, standing strong under the stars, a symbol of resilience and hope. The filly rests nearby, her trust growing stronger with each passing hour. Scout maintains his watch, faithful as ever to their shared mission. The story continues to unfold, each day bringing new challenges and triumphs. What began with one horse's desperate fight for survival has become a beacon of hope for countless others. Through Storm's example, they've learned that the path to healing lies not in breaking spirits, but in nurturing them back to strength. The first frost of autumn glitters across Thunder Basin as dawn breaks over the sanctuary. Marcus stands at the edge of the main paddock, camera in hand, capturing the way morning light plays across Storm's coat. The Mustang has filled out completely now, his frame powerful and proud, yet his eyes remain gentle as he watches over his growing family of rescued horses. Today marks a significant milestone for the sanctuary. Representatives from 3 major equine protection organizations have arrived to study their rehabilitation methods. Among them is Dr. Grace Henderson, whose revolutionary work with traumatized horses has shaped programs worldwide. Her presence brings both validation and nervous anticipation to the team. Grace observes Storm's interaction with a recently rescued group, her expert eye missing nothing. "Remarkable," she murmurs, noting how the lead stallion modulates his behavior based on each horse's comfort level. He's not just showing them how to be horses again, he's teaching them how to heal. The morning's evaluation is interrupted by urgent news from their network of informants. Peter Whitehawk, their contact from the tribal police, arrives with troubling information. A new trafficking operation has emerged using sophisticated methods to move horses across state lines. Their tactics include forged documentation and modified trailers designed to conceal their cargo. Storm senses the tension in the air, moving closer to the fence line where the humans gather. Scout follows, maintaining his position as the sanctuary's faithful guardian. The Border Collie's relationship with Storm has become legendary among their visitors, a testament to the unexpected bonds that can form in the wake of trauma. Grace joins their strategic discussion, her expertise adding depth to their planning. The psychological impact of these new trafficking methods is severe, she explains. The horses are being transported in complete darkness, often for days. The sensory deprivation creates unique rehabilitation challenges. As if understanding the gravity of their conversation, Storm demonstrates one of his most remarkable behaviors. He approaches a newly rescued mare, one still trembling from her ordeal in a modified trailer. His movements are carefully choreographed. Approaching, retreating, grazing nearby, each action designed to show her that safety exists in this new place. The mare's response captivates Grace. "This is unprecedented," she says, taking detailed notes. He's essentially providing peer counseling. "We've theorized about this possibility, but I've never seen it implemented so effectively." Peter shares more details about the trafficking operation while the sanctuary team develops their response plan. They've learned from experience that preparation is crucial. Each rescue brings its own unique challenges. The team has expanded to include veterinarians, behaviorists, and legal experts, all coordinating to protect these magnificent animals. Midday brings another visitor, Claire Martinez, a documentary filmmaker whose work focuses on wildlife conservation. She's been following the sanctuary's progress from afar and now hopes to share their story with a global audience. Marcus initially hesitates, protective of their rescued horse's privacy, but Grace helps him see the bigger picture. "The world needs to understand what's happening here," Grace argues. "Not just the cruelty you're fighting against, but the healing you've made possible." Storm's story could change how people think about trauma and recovery. As if on cue, Storm demonstrates the truth of her words. The nervous mare from earlier has begun following him at a distance, mimicking his grazing pattern. It's a small step, but one that speaks volumes about the effectiveness of their approach. Scout maintains a respectful distance, understanding his role in this delicate dance of trust building. Claire captures these moments with her camera, her trained eye recognizing the significance of each interaction. She works quietly, respecting the sanctuary's peaceful atmosphere. The horses accept her presence, another testament to the environment of trust that Storm has helped create. The afternoon brings new challenges. A call from their network alerts them to suspicious activity. Near the state border, Peter coordinates with tribal police, while the sanctuary team prepares for potential new arrivals. Grace offers to stay longer than planned, recognizing that her expertise might prove crucial in the coming days. Storm's behavior shifts subtly as activity increases around the sanctuary. He moves with more purpose now, checking on each member of his adopted family. The nervous mare watches him intently, learning from his calm response to the heightened human activity. Scout adapts his patrol route to complement Storm's movements, their partnership a masterclass in nonverbal communication. Claire interviews Grace about the significance of what they're witnessing. Traditional rehabilitation methods focus on human intervention, Grace explains. What's happening here is different. Storm has created a peer-supported healing environment. He's showing us that horses themselves can be powerful agents of recovery. As evening approaches, the sanctuary prepares for potential night operations. They've learned that traffickers often move their cargo after dark, taking advantage of reduced surveillance. Peter helps position tribal observers at key points along known transport routes, while the sanctuary team readies their emergency response protocols. Storm remains unusually alert as darkness falls, his posture suggesting awareness rather than anxiety. The nervous mare has drawn closer to him, finding security in his steady presence. Scout maintains his vigil, his border collie instincts perfectly suited to their current state of readiness. Grace continues her observation, fascinated by the complex social dynamics at play. "Look how he's positioned himself," she notes, "between the potential threat direction and the more vulnerable horses. He's not just leading by example anymore, he's actively protecting." The night deepens, bringing with it a tense, waiting game. Claire's camera captures the mood. The quiet determination of the sanctuary team, the alert presence of Storm and Scout, the gradually relaxing posture of the nervous mare. Each image tells part of a larger story about healing, protection, and the bonds that form in the face of adversity. Near midnight, the first reports come in. Peter's network has identified 2 suspicious vehicles moving along back roads, their patterns matching known trafficking operations. The sanctuary team moves into action, their response honed by experience. Grace offers her expertise in preparing for potentially traumatized new arrivals. Storm's behavior becomes more pronounced, as if he senses the approaching rescue operation. He guides his charges into familiar patterns, maintaining calm through routine. The nervous mare follows his lead more confidently now, her trust growing with each passing hour. Scout adjusts his position to support their movement, the 3 species working in unconscious harmony. Dawn approaches with agonizing slowness, each minute weighted with anticipation. The sanctuary glows with subtle activity. Preparation areas readied, medical supplies checked, documentation protocols reviewed. Grace works with the team, sharing insights from her years of experience with similar operations. First light brings success. Peter's team has intercepted the traffickers. 2 trailers of horses are en route to the sanctuary, their cargo finally bound for safety rather than suffering. The nervous mare watches as Storm positions himself near the arrival area, his presence ready to offer the same comfort he once received. Claire documents the preparation, capturing the profound significance of these moments. Her lens finds the subtle details, Storm's alert but calm demeanor, Scout's attentive patrol, the nervous mare's growing confidence, Grace's quiet approval of their methods. Each frame tells part of a larger story about hope, healing, and the remarkable capacity for renewal. The sanctuary holds its breath, ready to receive its newest residents. Storm stands proud in the morning light, his journey from desperate survivor to healing guide now complete. Yet each new rescue offers fresh challenges, fresh opportunities to prove that compassion and patience can overcome the darkest of circumstances. As the sun rises fully over Thunder Basin, painting the frost in shades of gold, the sanctuary's mission continues. Through Storm's example, they've learned that healing is possible, that trust can be rebuilt, that even the deepest wounds can mend with time and understanding. His legacy grows with each horse they save, each life they help restore, each story they help rewrite. The morning brings not just new challenges, but new hope. Storm's presence reminds them that from the darkest moments can come the most profound transformations. The nervous mare grazes peacefully now, Scout keeps his faithful watch, and the sanctuary stands ready to offer refuge to those who need it most. This is more than a place of healing. It's a testament to the enduring power of compassion, courage, and the unbreakable spirit of these magnificent creatures. The first snowfall blankets Thunder Basin, transforming the sanctuary into a pristine white canvas. Marcus adjusts his camera settings to capture the ethereal scene before him. Storm standing atop a gentle rise, his dark coat a striking contrast against the snow. The Mustang's presence has drawn the attention of an unexpected visitor, Dr. Nathan Brooks, a renowned wildlife geneticist studying the declining diversity in wild horse populations. Nathan watches Storm interact with the sanctuary's newest arrivals, his scientific objectivity gradually giving way to wonder. His genetic markers suggest Spanish colonial lineage, he explains, reviewing DNA test results. These bloodlines are becoming increasingly rare in the wild. What you've saved here is more than one horse. It's a living link to history. The revelation adds new depth to their understanding of Storm's significance. The sanctuary's mission expands as Nathan shares his research about the importance of preserving diverse bloodlines in wild horse populations. Scout, ever vigilant, maintains his patrol while the humans discuss this latest development. Mid-morning brings an urgent message. From their network, Rebecca Blackwood, their contact at the Wildlife Protection Unit, arrives with disturbing news. A new threat has emerged. Poachers targeting specific color patterns and bloodlines, responding to demand from private collectors. The geneticists' presence takes on added significance as they realize Storm's heritage makes him particularly valuable. The sanctuary team gathers in Marcus's cabin to assess this new challenge. Rebecca spreads out maps showing recent poaching incidents, while Nathan contributes data about targeted bloodlines. Their discussion is interrupted by an alert from the perimeter sensors, unknown vehicles approaching from the North Ridge. Storm's behavior changes subtly, his posture becoming more protective of the herd. The other horses respond to his signals, moving into formations that speak to his natural leadership abilities. Scout takes up position near the main gate, his border collie instincts heightened by the unusual activity. Through binoculars, they identify the approaching vehicles as belonging to a documentary crew from National Geographic. The team has been tracking the story of America's vanishing wild horse bloodlines, and Nathan's research led them to the sanctuary. Their arrival, though unexpected, offers an opportunity to share their mission with a global audience. The lead filmmaker, Sophia Chen, recognizes the delicate nature of their work. She sets up remote cameras to minimize disruption, while her team works with Nathan to document the genetic significance of their rescue efforts. Storm's story becomes central to their narrative, a living example of what could be lost without intervention. As the day progresses, Nathan conducts field observations that reveal more about Storm's unique characteristics. The way he moves, his problem-solving abilities, even his social intelligence, all point to traits that were once common in wild herds, but have become increasingly rare. The documentary team captures these moments, building a compelling case, but preservation. Rebecca uses this opportunity to coordinate with other sanctuaries, sharing Nathan's findings and establishing protocols for identifying horses with similar genetic markers. The network they've built becomes crucial as they develop strategies to protect these living links to equine history. The afternoon brings heavy snow, but work continues. Nathan collects DNA samples from other rescued horses, building a database that could help track bloodlines and prevent illegal trafficking. Storm demonstrates remarkable patience during these procedures, setting an example that helps calm the more nervous horses. Sophia's cameras capture an extraordinary moment, Storm teaching younger horses how to find food under the snow, a behavior typical of wild herds but rarely seen in rescued horses. Nathan explains that this knowledge transmission is crucial for survival in the wild, another indicator of Storm's genetic heritage. Evening approaches with new concerns. Rebecca receives reports of suspicious activity near known poaching sites. The sanctuary team implements enhanced security measures, knowing that Storm's documented heritage could make him a target. Scouts. Patrols become more frequent, his protective instincts perfectly aligned with their mission. The documentary crew, understanding the sensitivity of the situation, adjusts their filming schedule. Sophia works with Marcus to capture the sanctuary's nighttime security operations, showing the constant vigilance required to protect these precious bloodlines. Nathan continues his research under carefully controlled lighting, each discovery adding urgency to their preservation efforts. As darkness settles over Thunder Basin, the sanctuary transforms. Infrared cameras monitor the perimeter, while heat sensors track movement through the property. Storm maintains his own watch, his behavior suggesting an inherited awareness of nocturnal threats. The other horses cluster nearby, trusting his judgment as they have since his arrival. Nathan shares more findings with the team. Storm's DNA analysis reveals markers associated with Spanish barb horses, a lineage dating back to the earliest European explorations of North America. This discovery explains many of his unique characteristics: his intelligence, adaptability, and natural leadership abilities. The night brings an unexpected test of their security measures. Motion sensors detect movement along the eastern fence line, triggering silent alarms. Rebecca coordinates with local law enforcement while the sanctuary team implements their protection protocols. Storm, sensing the tension, moves his charges to a more defensible position. Dawn reveals tracks in the fresh snow, evidence of would-be poachers turned away by their security system. The documentary team captures the aftermath, turning this attempted breach into a powerful statement about the ongoing threats to wild horse populations. Nathan uses the incident to emphasize the importance of protecting genetic diversity. Morning light brings new visitors. Representatives from other sanctuaries arrive to learn about Nathan's findings and the sanctuary's protection methods. Storm's presence draws their attention, his bearing and behavior offering living proof of what they're working to preserve. Scout maintains his vigilant patrol, adapting to the increased activity with professional focus. The geneticist's work continues, revealing more about Storm's heritage with each test. The documentary team follows these discoveries, weaving together the scientific and emotional aspects of their story. Sophia's cameras capture the moment Nathan confirms another significant finding: markers indicating resistance to certain diseases, a trait that could prove crucial for future breeding programs. Rebecca coordinates with wildlife officials to establish new protocols for identifying and protecting horses with similar genetic markers. The sanctuary's mission evolves, adding genetic preservation to their rescue and rehabilitation work. Storm's role expands as well, his bloodline now recognized as a vital link to the past. The afternoon brings a breakthrough in Nathan's research. By comparing Storm's DNA with samples from other rescued horses, he identifies several potential relatives in other sanctuaries. This discovery opens new possibilities for preserving these rare bloodlines while maintaining genetic diversity. Sophia's team documents the sanctuary's response to this news. Their cameras capture the careful planning sessions, the coordination with other facilities, the hope that comes with each new discovery. Storm remains at the center of this activity, his quiet strength a reminder of why their work matters. As evening approaches, the sanctuary settles into its routine. The documentary crew prepares for night filming, using specialized equipment to capture the natural behavior of the herd. Nathan continues his analysis, each result adding to their understanding of what makes Storm extraordinary. The snow begins, again as darkness falls, adding another layer of pristine white to the landscape. Storm stands watch over his sleeping herd, his silhouette powerful against the swirling snow. Scout maintains his patrol, the border collie's dedication matching his equine partner's vigilance. Marcus reviews the day's photographs with Sophia, selecting images that best tell their story. Nathan joins them, adding scientific context to moments that might otherwise seem purely emotional. Together, they're creating a record that combines art and science, proving that both are necessary for true conservation. The night deepens, but the sanctuary's work continues. Rebecca monitors security feeds while Nathan processes his latest findings. Storm moves through the darkness with inherited confidence, his rare bloodline expressing itself in every action. The documentary team captures these quiet moments, understanding that they're witnessing something precious and increasingly rare. Dawn approaches with new promise. The sanctuary's mission has grown beyond rescue and rehabilitation, expanding to include the preservation of genetic heritage that might otherwise be lost. Storm's journey from desperate survivor to living legacy continues to unfold, each day bringing new understanding of his significance. The morning light reveals fresh snow and fresh possibilities. Nathan prepares to share his findings with the scientific community while Sophia's team readies their footage for a global audience. Storm watches the sunrise from his favorite ridge, Scout faithful at his feet. Their unlikely partnership a testament to the sanctuary's evolving story. Their work continues, driven by the understanding that each horse they save might carry similarly precious genetic heritage. Storm's presence reminds them daily of what can be preserved through dedication and care. The sanctuary stands ready to protect these living links to history, ensuring that future generations will know the strength and beauty of truly wild horses. Midwinter grips Thunder Basin, the landscape transformed by deep snow and crystalline ice. Inside the sanctuary's newly constructed rehabilitation center, Marcus reviews thermal imaging data with Dr. Isabella Martinez, a specialist in equine trauma recovery. The screens show heat signatures of the latest group of rescued horses, their patterns revealing stress levels invisible to the naked eye. Storm's thermal signature stands out, a steady, calm blue, indicating complete relaxation. Isabella studies the contrast between his readings and those of the newly arrived horses, their bright red patterns telling stories of fear and anxiety. He's more than just a success story now, she observes. He's become a living baseline for healthy recovery. The morning's analysis is interrupted by an urgent call from Michael Standing Bear, their contact with the Intertribal Wildlife Protection Network. A severe winter storm is approaching from the north, threatening a herd of wild horses trapped in a narrow canyon. Among them are several young foals, their chances of survival diminishing with each passing hour. The sanctuary team mobilizes. Quickly, their winter rescue protocols honed by experience. Storm watches from his paddock as vehicles are prepared and emergency supplies loaded. His behavior has changed since the thermal imaging equipment arrived, as if he understands that technology now helps them see what he's always sensed about other horses. Scout assists with the preparations, his border collie instincts perfectly, suited to organizing movement through deep snow. The dog's relationship with Storm has evolved into something extraordinary. They communicate through subtle signals, coordinating their efforts to maintain calm among the rescued horses. Isabella insists on joining the rescue operation, her expertise crucial for assessing the herd's condition through thermal imaging. We can identify which animals need immediate intervention, she explains, checking her equipment. Every minute saved increases their chances of survival. The rescue team departs into deteriorating weather, leaving Marcus and Storm to manage the sanctuary. The Mustang's presence becomes invaluable as the barometric pressure drops, his calm demeanor helping prevent panic among the other horses. Scout patrols the perimeter, his black and white coat almost invisible against the snow. Hours pass with tense waiting. The storm intensifies. Radio communications become sporadic. Marcus monitors weather data, while Isabella's thermal imaging feeds provide crucial information about the trapped herd's condition. Storm remains unusually alert, his attention fixed on the northern horizon where the rescue team disappeared. Late afternoon brings the first sign of success. Headlights penetrating the swirling snow. The rescue convoy returns with 8 horses, including 3 foals. Their thermal signatures show dangerous levels of hypothermia, requiring immediate intervention. Storm approaches the unloading area, positioning himself where the rescued horses can see him. Isabella's technology reveals something remarkable. As the rescued horses notice Storm's presence, their thermal patterns begin to shift. "Look at this," she says, pointing to the changing colors on her screen. Their stress levels are dropping. Just from seeing him, he's literally showing them it's safe. The rehabilitation center transforms into an emergency treatment facility. Heated blankets, infrared lamps, and warming fluids are deployed according to Isabella's assessments. Storm remains nearby, his steady presence a living example of survival and recovery. Scout helps maintain order, his herding instincts perfectly complementing Storm's calming influence. Michael, standing bare, shares details about the rescued herd while helping with treatment. These horses represent an important bloodline, their genetics carrying traits for survival in harsh winter conditions. The sanctuary's mission expands once again, not just saving individual lives, but preserving crucial adaptive traits. Through the night, the team works tirelessly. Isabella's thermal imaging guides their efforts, showing which treatments are most effective. Storm maintains his vigil, occasionally approaching the treatment areas when stress levels spike. His behavior demonstrates an almost intuitive understanding of what the rescued horses need. Dawn breaks with cautious optimism. The rescued horses' thermal signatures show improvement, their patterns gradually shifting from alarming reds to cooler, calmer blues. Isabella documents everything, building a database that will help future rescue operations. Storm's role in their recovery becomes part of the official record. The storm continues to rage outside, but within the rehabilitation center, healing progresses. Michael explains traditional tribal methods for helping horses recover from extreme cold, his knowledge complementing Isabella's technical expertise. The combination of ancient wisdom and modern technology creates new possibilities for treatment. Midday brings an unexpected discovery. Isabella's thermal imaging reveals unusual patterns in one of the rescued foals, signs of an extraordinary ability to regulate body temperature. This adaptation could be crucial for the species' survival as climate patterns become more extreme. Storm shows particular interest in this foal, his behavior suggesting recognition of something special. The sanctuary's focus shifts to documenting and understanding these adaptive traits. Michael coordinates with tribal elders who have tracked these bloodlines through generations, while Isabella's technology provides scientific validation of their observations. Storm becomes central to their research, his own survival skills now seen in a new light. As evening approaches, the rescued horses show remarkable progress. Their thermal signatures increasingly resemble Storm's calm blue pattern, indicating successful adaptation to their new environment. Scout maintains his protective patrol, his presence adding another layer of security to their recovery. The rehabilitation center's atmosphere changes as night falls. Emergency gives way to routine. Fear transforms into cautious trust. Storm moves among the rescued horses with quiet confidence, his example showing them how to thrive in this new situation. Isabella's monitors confirm what they can see, healing happening in real time. Michael shares more tribal knowledge about winter survival traits in wild horses. These adaptations, passed down through generations, represent crucial genetic resources for the species' future. The sanctuary's role expands beyond immediate rescue to long-term preservation of these vital characteristics. The night deepens, but work continues. Isabella monitors thermal patterns while the team adjusts treatments based on her data. Storm remains engaged, his behavior providing insights into natural recovery processes. Scout adapts his routine to support their efforts, his intelligence matching his dedication. Near midnight, another breakthrough occurs. The foal with unusual temperature regulation begins mimicking Storm's behavior patterns. Isabella's screens show their thermal signatures becoming remarkably similar. This observation opens new avenues for understanding how survival traits are shared and learned within horse communities. The storm finally begins to ease as dawn approaches. The rehabilitation center's atmosphere reflects the weather's improvement, calm, purposeful, focused on healing. Storm's presence has become integral to their success, his journey from rescued to rescuer now scientifically documented through Isabella's technology. Morning reveals a transformed landscape and transformed horses. The rescued herd's thermal signatures show remarkable improvement, their patterns reflecting growing confidence and stability. Storm continues his role as guide and teacher, while Scout maintains his faithful watch over their expanding family. Isabella prepares her findings for publication, knowing they'll revolutionize equine rehabilitation practices. Michael works to integrate traditional knowledge with these new scientific insights, creating a more complete understanding of horse recovery and adaptation. The sanctuary's approach becomes a model for combining ancient wisdom with modern technology. The day brings new challenges and opportunities. Other rehabilitation centers request access to their thermal imaging protocols, while tribal representatives arrive to study their integration of traditional methods. Storm's story expands beyond personal triumph to become a blueprint for future rescue operations. As the sun climbs higher, its light reflecting brilliantly off the snow-covered landscape, the sanctuary's mission continues to evolve. What began as one horse's journey to survival has become a sophisticated operation, combining science, tradition, and compassion. Storm stands in the morning light, his presence a living bridge between wild freedom and human care, showing that healing comes in many forms. The rehabilitation center buzzes with activity as teams document their findings and prepare for future rescues. Isabella's technology reveals new insights about horse behavior and recovery, while Michael's traditional knowledge provides crucial context for their observations. Together, they're creating a new approach to horse rehabilitation, one that honors both ancient wisdom and modern science. Storm watches over his expanding family, his calm presence a constant amid change and progress. Scout maintains his protective circuit, their partnership a reminder that bonds formed in adversity can create extraordinary strength. The sanctuary stands ready for whatever challenges tomorrow may bring, equipped with new understanding and ancient wisdom alike. Late winter sunlight streams through the windows of the sanctuary's newly established research center. Dr. Olivia Chang adjusts her specialized audio equipment, fascinated by the data appearing on her screens. Her years studying equine vocal communication have led her to Thunder Basin, where Storm's unique interactions with other horses have caught the attention of the scientific community. The morning's recording session reveals patterns that challenge conventional understanding. Storm's vocalizations carry subtle variations that appear to change based on which horse he's communicating with. Scout watches the proceedings with interest, his head tilting at sounds too high for human ears to detect. Through sophisticated spectrographic analysis, Olivia maps the complex layers of Storm's communications. Each call contains multiple frequencies, she explains to Marcus, pointing to colorful patterns on her monitor. He's essentially created a specialized language for the sanctuary, one that combines wild herd calls with new signals developed here. Their discussion is interrupted by an urgent message from Hannah Redhawk, coordinator of the Regional Horse Protection Network. A series of unexplained fires has been reported near known wild horse territories, raising concerns about intentional habitat destruction. The sanctuary may soon need to prepare for an influx of displaced horses. Storm's behavior shifts as emergency preparations begin. His vocalizations take on new patterns that Olivia rushes to document. "He's picking up on our urgency," she notes, "but he's maintaining a calm presence for the other horses. The complexity of his social intelligence is extraordinary." The sanctuary team implements their emergency protocols while continuing to monitor Storm's communications. Each vocalization is recorded and analyzed, building a database that could help other rehabilitation centers understand how horses share information about safety and danger. Around midday, the first reports of horse movement reach the sanctuary. Groups of wild horses are being spotted heading east, away from the affected areas. Hannah coordinates with tribal authorities to ensure safe passage through their lands, while Olivia's equipment captures the sanctuary horses' reactions to the distant disturbance. Storm's role becomes increasingly crucial as the situation develops. His calls appear to reassure anxious horses while organizing their movements within the sanctuary. Scout adapts his behavior to complement these communications, the border collie's instincts perfectly aligned with Storm's leadership. The afternoon brings Dr. James Whitehorse, an expert in traditional Native American horse medicine. His arrival adds new depth to their understanding of equine communication. "Our ancestors knew horses could share complex information," he explains, listening to Olivia's recordings. They developed methods to work with these natural communication systems rather than trying to override them. As evening approaches, the first group of displaced horses arrives. Their stress is evident in their behavior and vocalizations, which Olivia's equipment captures in detail. Storm responds with a series of calls unlike anything they've recorded before, somehow combining reassurance with practical guidance about water and food locations. The integration of new arrivals provides unprecedented research opportunities. Olivia's instruments record the gradual shift in vocal patterns as the displaced horses begin to adopt the sanctuary's communication style. James observes these changes through the lens of traditional knowledge, offering insights that bridge ancient understanding and modern science. Night falls, but the sanctuary remains active. Thermal cameras and audio sensors continue gathering data as Storm works with the newcomers. His methods challenge conventional rehabilitation practices, showing how natural horse communication can facilitate healing and integration. Dawn reveals the effectiveness of Storm's approach. The new arrival's vocal patterns have begun to align with the sanctuary's established communications. Olivia's analysis shows how specific frequencies associated with stress and fear have diminished, replaced by calmer tones matching Storm's example. Hannah returns with updates about the fire situation and more horses potentially heading their way. The sanctuary team expands their preparation while maintaining their research efforts. Storm's communication patterns adapt to the growing complexity of his role, demonstrating remarkable flexibility and awareness. Through the morning, James shares traditional stories about horse communication, many of which find validation in Olivia's data. The combination of ancient wisdom and modern technology creates new possibilities for understanding how horses build and maintain social structures. Midday brings another group of displaced horses, their arrival captured in both audio and thermal imaging. Storm's response demonstrates even greater sophistication, his vocalizations now showing patterns that seem to address specific needs and concerns within the group. The sanctuary's approach to rehabilitation evolves with each new insight. Olivia's research reveals how vocal communication facilitates healing, while James's traditional knowledge provides context for understanding the deeper meanings within horse interactions. Scout maintains his supportive role, his presence adding another layer to their understanding of cross-species communication. As afternoon progresses, the sanctuary witnesses an extraordinary demonstration of Storm's capabilities. A particularly traumatized mare arrives, her vocalizations showing extreme distress patterns. Storm approaches her with a series of calls that Olivia's equipment reveals as uniquely complex, combining elements of multiple communication styles. The mare's response provides crucial data about how horses process and respond to different types of communication. James recognizes patterns that align with traditional healing practices, while Olivia's instruments capture the scientific evidence of their effectiveness. The sanctuary's work begins to bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and modern research. Evening brings new challenges as weather conditions threaten to push more horses toward their territory. Storm's vocalizations take on yet another dimension, seemingly preparing the sanctuary's residents for the possibility of more newcomers. Scout adjusts his patrol patterns in response, demonstrating the deep connection between the horse and dog. The research center transforms into a hub of activity. As teams process the day's data, Olivia's analysis reveals patterns that could revolutionize horse rehabilitation practices, while James works to document how these findings correspond with traditional knowledge. Their collaboration creates a new framework for understanding equine communication and healing. Night settles over Thunder Basin, but Storm's work continues. His calls carry through the darkness, guiding and reassuring, each vocalization captured and analyzed by Olivia's sophisticated equipment. The sanctuary's residents respond to his leadership, their own communications showing increasing sophistication and purpose. Near midnight, thermal imaging reveals the approach of another group of horses. Storm's response provides new insights into how horses communicate about safety and danger. His calls guide the newcomers while maintaining calm among the sanctuary's established residents, demonstrating remarkable social intelligence. The next morning brings clear skies and fresh opportunities for research. Olivia's data shows how the sanctuary's communication patterns have evolved to handle complex social situations, while James identifies elements that echo ancient horse-human partnerships. Their work continues to expand understanding of these magnificent creatures. As the sun climbs higher, Storm stands at his favorite observation point, surveying his growing family. His journey from traumatized survivor to sophisticated communicator and leader represents more than just one horse's recovery. It offers hope for developing more effective natural approaches to horse rehabilitation and care. The sanctuary's mission evolves with each new discovery. What began as emergency response has grown into a sophisticated research operation, combining cutting-edge technology with traditional wisdom. Storm's presence remains central to their success, his experience and intelligence helping forge new paths in horse rehabilitation and communication study. Through the day, more data accumulates about how horses share information and support each other's healing. Olivia's research reveals patterns that could transform rehabilitation practices worldwide, while James's insights help ground these discoveries in generations of horse-human relationship wisdom. Together, they're creating a new understanding of these extraordinary animals. The sanctuary stands ready for whatever challenges tomorrow may bring, equipped with deeper understanding of how horses communicate and heal. Storm continues his role as teacher and guide, his every interaction adding to their knowledge. Scout maintains his faithful watch, their partnership a testament to the power of communication across species barriers. Spring arrives early in Thunder Basin, bringing with it unexpected challenges. The sanctuary buzzes with activity as Dr. Alexandra Rivers, a specialist in equine cognitive neuroscience, sets up her mobile laboratory. Her groundbreaking research uses non-invasive brain mapping technology to study how horses process trauma and recovery. Outside the new research facility, Storm grazes peacefully, seemingly unaware of the sophisticated equipment tracking his brain patterns. Scout maintains his vigilant patrol nearby, his presence a constant in the ever-evolving sanctuary. Alexandra's screens display complex neural activity that challenges conventional understanding of equine intelligence. These patterns are remarkable, Alexandra explains, pointing to vibrant displays of Storm's neural activity. He's not just responding to stimuli, he's actively processing and problem-solving. His brain shows activity typically associated with advanced social cognition and emotional intelligence. The morning's research session is interrupted by an urgent call from Ryan Blackhawk, their contact with the Environmental Protection Task Force. Satellite imagery has revealed unusual ground disturbances near protected horse territories, signs of potential illegal mining operations threatening crucial grazing lands. Storm's brain patterns shift noticeably as the sanctuary team discusses emergency preparations. Alexandra watches in fascination as his neural activity indicates heightened awareness without showing stress markers. He's processing complex environmental changes while maintaining emotional stability, she notes, a combination we rarely see in trauma survivors. The sanctuary's mission expands as they prepare for potential environmental impacts. Ryan coordinates with federal authorities while Alexandra's team continues monitoring Storm's cognitive responses to the increasing activity. Each data set provides new insights into how horses process and adapt to changing circumstances. Midday brings Catherine Winters, an environmental law specialist, to assess the situation. Her arrival coincides with interesting changes in Storm's neural patterns. Alexandra's equipment captures how he processes new human presences while maintaining his leadership role within the sanctuary. The afternoon develops into a hive of coordinated activity. Catherine reviews satellite imagery while Ryan organizes ground surveys. Storm's brain activity reveals sophisticated environmental awareness, showing how he processes territorial changes and potential threats to his herd's safety. Look at this activity in the hippocampus region, Alexandra points. Out during a brief team meeting, he's accessing spatial memory while integrating new environmental information. This level of cognitive processing explains his extraordinary ability to guide other horses through recovery. As evening approaches, the first signs of environmental impact become visible. Dust clouds on the horizon signal mining activity, while seismic monitors detect subtle ground vibrations. Storm's neural responses provide crucial data about how horses perceive and react to environmental disturbances. The research facility transforms into an emergency response center. Catherine coordinates legal interventions, while Ryan's team collects environmental impact data. Alexandra's equipment continues monitoring Storm's cognitive processes, showing how he maintains calm leadership despite mounting external pressures. Night falls, but work continues under powerful floodlights. Storm's brain patterns reveal heightened nighttime awareness without showing anxiety. Scout adapts his patrol route to complement the increased security measures, their partnership demonstrating remarkable cognitive synchronization. Dawn brings new challenges as mining activity intensifies. Alexandra's equipment captures Storm's neural responses to ground vibrations, providing unprecedented data about how horses process environmental threats. His ability to maintain calm while processing complex sensory information amazes the research team. Catherine returns with promising news about emergency injunctions against the mining operations. Storm's brain patterns show interesting reactions to the changing human emotional dynamics around him, suggesting sophisticated social awareness previously undocumented in horses. Through the morning, Alexandra's team documents how Storm processes multiple streams of information, environmental changes, herd dynamics, human activities. His neural patterns reveal an extraordinary ability to prioritize and respond to various stimuli while maintaining emotional stability. Midday brings a breakthrough in their understanding. Storm's brain activity shows patterns suggesting he's not just reacting to situations, but anticipating them. This predictive cognitive ability explains his effectiveness in helping other horses navigate recovery. The sanctuary's approach to rehabilitation evolves with each new insight. Alexandra's research reveals the neurological basis for Storm's healing influence, while Catherine and Ryan work to protect the environmental conditions necessary for recovery. Their combined efforts create a more complete framework for horse protection and rehabilitation. As afternoon progresses, the sanctuary witnesses an extraordinary demonstration of Storm's capabilities. A new group of rescued horses arrives, visibly distressed by the mining activity. Storm's neural patterns show complex problem-solving activity as he works to calm and integrate the newcomers. Evening brings a team of geologists to assess the mining impact. Storm's brain activity reveals interesting responses to the ground testing equipment, providing new data about how horses process artificial environmental stimuli. Scout maintains his protective circuit, his behavior synchronizing with Storm's leadership. The research facility hums with activity as teams process the day's findings. Alexandra's analysis reveals patterns that could revolutionize understanding of equine cognition, while Catherine and Ryan develop strategies to protect wild horse territories. Their collaboration creates new possibilities for conservation and rehabilitation. Night settles over Thunder Basin, but monitoring continues. Storm's neural patterns show sophisticated nighttime adaptation, explaining his effectiveness at providing security for the herd. The sanctuary's residents respond to his calm leadership, creating a stable environment despite external pressures. Near midnight, seismic monitors detect increased mining activity. Storm's brain patterns reveal how he processes these disturbances while maintaining herd stability. His cognitive responses provide crucial insights into natural threat assessment and protection behaviors. The next morning brings clear skies and fresh data about horse cognition. Alexandra's research shows how Storm's brain integrates complex environmental and social information, while Catherine and Ryan work to secure legal protection for threatened territories. Their efforts combine to create more effective approaches to horse conservation. As the sun rises fully, Storm stands at his observation point, his brain activity showing remarkable spatial awareness and social processing. His journey from traumatized survivor to sophisticated leader represents a breakthrough in understanding equine cognitive potential. The sanctuary's mission continues to evolve with each new discovery. What began as emergency response has grown into a sophisticated research operation, combining neuroscience with environmental protection. Storm's presence remains central to their success, his cognitive capabilities helping forge new paths in horse rehabilitation and conservation. Through the day, more data accumulates about how horses process and respond to environmental challenges. Alexandra's research reveals patterns that could transform rehabilitation practices worldwide, while Catherine and Ryan's efforts help ensure these discoveries can be applied in protected natural settings. The sanctuary stands ready for whatever challenges emerge, equipped with deeper understanding of equine cognition and environmental needs. Storm continues his role as teacher and guide, his every neural pattern adding to their knowledge. Scout maintains his faithful watch, their partnership demonstrating the remarkable potential for cross-species cognitive synchronization. As evening approaches, the teams review their progress. Alexandra's neural mapping has revealed new dimensions, of horse intelligence, while Catherine and Ryan's environmental protection efforts have secured crucial territories. Together, they're creating a comprehensive approach to horse conservation that considers both cognitive and environmental needs. The spring night brings gentle rain, and Storm's neural patterns show fascinating responses to changing weather conditions. His ability to process and adapt to environmental changes while maintaining herd stability continues to provide valuable data for future conservation efforts. Dawn reveals fresh challenges and opportunities. The sanctuary's work expands beyond immediate rescue to understanding and protecting the complex conditions that allow horses to thrive. Storm's journey from victim to leader has become a blueprint for combining scientific research with practical conservation. The morning light illuminates a landscape of possibility. Through Storm's example, they've discovered new dimensions of horse cognition and adaptation. His presence continues to inspire and inform their work, showing how understanding can lead to more effective protection and rehabilitation methods. Late spring transforms Thunder Basin into a tapestry of wildflowers and emerald grass. Dr. Victoria Hayes adjusts her biomechanical senses, fascinated by the data streaming from Storm's movements. Her research into equine locomotion and rehabilitation has brought her to the sanctuary, where Storm's remarkable recovery challenges conventional understanding of physical healing. The morning light catches the subtle metallic gleam of sensors attached to Storm's legs and spine. Each movement generates streams of data, painting a detailed picture of his biomechanics. Scout watches from nearby, his border collie instincts attuned to the smallest changes in his equine partner's gait. His movement patterns are extraordinary, Victoria explains, studying the three-dimensional models on her tablet. Despite his previous injuries, he's developed compensatory mechanisms that actually improve his overall efficiency. He's not just surviving, he's thriving in ways we never thought possible. Their morning observation session is interrupted by an urgent message from Benjamin Greywolf, coordinator for the Wild Horse Migration Project. Advanced weather modeling predicts an unusually severe drought heading toward critical grazing territories. The sanctuary needs to prepare for an environmental crisis that could drive hundreds of horses from their traditional ranges. Storm's movements shift subtly as the sanctuary team discusses emergency preparations. Victoria's sensors capture intriguing data about how he adjusts his gait to conserve energy while maintaining his supervisory role. Each step reveals sophisticated adaptations that could help other recovering horses. Mid-morning brings Dr. Samantha Chen, a specialist in drought-resistant vegetation. Her expertise will be crucial as they prepare for the environmental challenges ahead. Storm's biomechanical data shows interesting patterns as he tests the changing ground conditions, his movements adapting to protect recovering muscles and joints. The sanctuary's focus expands as they implement drought preparedness measures. Samantha coordinates with botanical experts while Victoria's team continues monitoring Storm's physical responses to the changing environment. Each dataset provides valuable insights into how horses adapt to environmental stress while maintaining rehabilitation progress. Around noon, Emma Blackhawk arrives from the Environmental Protection Agency with concerning satellite imagery. The approaching drought could be more severe than initially predicted. Storm's movement patterns reveal subtle responses to the shifting barometric pressure, his body anticipating environmental changes before they become visible. Victoria's sensors capture fascinating data as Storm guides other horses through the sanctuary's drought preparation protocols. Watch how he modifies his gait when working with injured horses, she points out. He's essentially providing physical therapy demonstrations, showing them how to move efficiently in changing conditions. The afternoon intensifies as the first signs of drought stress appear in the vegetation. Samantha's team works to protect crucial grazing areas, while Victoria's equipment documents how Storm adapts his movement patterns to the hardening ground. His example helps other horses adjust their gaits to prevent injury. Evening brings new challenges as the atmospheric pressure continues to drop. Storm's biomechanical data reveals sophisticated adjustments to his movement, compensating for environmental changes while maintaining his leadership role. Scout adapts his patrol route to complement these changes, their partnership demonstrating remarkable physical synchronization. Night falls, but work continues under powerful LED arrays. Victoria's sensors capture Storm's nocturnal movement patterns, showing how he maintains efficient motion even in low-light conditions. His ability to adjust his gait while guiding other horses provides crucial insights for rehabilitation programs. Dawn reveals the first serious effects of the approaching drought. Victoria's equipment captures Storm's responses to the changing terrain, his movements offering a masterclass in adaptive locomotion. His example helps recently rescued horses navigate the increasingly challenging conditions. Through the morning, Samantha's team implements emergency grazing strategies, while Victoria documents how the horses adjust their movement patterns. Storm's biomechanical data shows remarkable efficiency, his body finding optimal solutions to complex physical challenges. Midday brings a breakthrough in their understanding. Storm's movement patterns reveal not just adaptation, but innovation. He's developing new ways of navigating difficult terrain while protecting healing tissues. This discovery could revolutionize equine rehabilitation techniques. The sanctuary's approach evolves with each new insight. Victoria's research reveals the biomechanical basis for Storm's extraordinary recovery, while Samantha works to maintain environmental conditions that support healing. Their combined efforts create a more complete framework for horse rehabilitation and protection. As afternoon progresses, the sanctuary witnesses an extraordinary demonstration of Storm's capabilities. A group of rescued horses struggling with the changing terrain begins mimicking his movement patterns, their gaits gradually becoming more efficient. Victoria's sensors capture these transformations in real time. Evening brings more environmental challenges as the drought's effects intensify. Storm's biomechanical data shows how he adjusts his movements to conserve energy while maintaining herd supervision. Scout matches these adaptations, their synchronized movements, creating stable patterns for others to follow. The research facility hums with activity as teams process the day's findings. Victoria's analysis reveals patterns that could transform physical rehabilitation practices, while Samantha's team develops strategies to protect crucial recovery environments. Their collaboration opens new possibilities for comprehensive horse care. Night settles over Thunder Basin, but monitoring continues. Storm's movement data shows sophisticated adaptations to nighttime conditions, explaining his effectiveness at providing security despite environmental challenges. The sanctuary's residents follow his example, their collective movements creating stable patterns despite external pressures. Near midnight, environmental sensors detect increasing drought stress. Storm's biomechanical responses reveal how he processes these changes while maintaining physical efficiency. His adaptations provide crucial insights into natural stress management and protection behaviors. The next morning brings clear skies and fresh challenges. Victoria's research shows how Storm's movement patterns integrate complex environmental and physical information, while Samantha works to preserve conditions necessary for rehabilitation. Their efforts combine to create more effective approaches to horse recovery. As the sun climbs higher, Storm demonstrates remarkable adaptability. his movements showing perfect efficiency despite the increasingly difficult conditions. His journey from traumatized survivor to movement specialist represents a breakthrough in understanding equine physical recovery. The sanctuary's mission continues to expand with each new discovery. What began as emergency response has grown into a sophisticated research operation, combining biomechanics with environmental science. Storm's presence remains central to their success, his physical capabilities helping forge new paths in horse rehabilitation. Through the day, more data accumulates about how horses adapt to environmental challenges. Victoria's research reveals patterns that could transform rehabilitation practices worldwide, while Samantha's efforts help ensure these discoveries can be applied in natural settings. The sanctuary stands ready for whatever challenges emerge, equipped with deeper understanding of equine movement and environmental adaptation. Storm continues his role as teacher and guide, his every motion adding to their knowledge. Scout maintains his faithful watch, their partnership demonstrating the remarkable potential for cross-species physical synchronization. As evening approaches, the teams review their progress. Victoria's biomechanical mapping has revealed new dimensions of horse adaptation, while Samantha's environmental protection efforts have secured crucial recovery spaces. Together, they're creating a comprehensive approach to horse rehabilitation that considers both physical and environmental needs. The spring night brings new weather patterns, and Storm's movement data shows fascinating responses to atmospheric changes. His ability to adjust his gait while maintaining herd stability continues to provide valuable data for future rehabilitation efforts. Dawn reveals fresh challenges and opportunities. The sanctuary's work expands beyond immediate physical recovery to understanding and protecting the complex conditions that allow horses to heal and thrive. Storm's journey from victim to movement specialist has become a blueprint for combining scientific research with practical rehabilitation. The morning light illuminates a landscape of possibility. Through Storm's example, they've discovered new dimensions of horse movement and adaptation. His presence continues to inspire and inform their work, showing how understanding physical recovery can lead to more effective protection and rehabilitation methods. The sanctuary glows with the last rays of sunlight as Victoria completes her final measurements for the day. Storm's biomechanical data tells a story of triumph, not just over physical adversity, but over the very limits of what experts thought possible in equine recovery. His movements flow with natural grace, each step a testament to the resilience of spirit and body. Scout makes his evening rounds, his own movements mirroring the efficiency his equine partner has mastered. Together, they represent a new chapter in understanding how animals adapt and heal. The drought may challenge their environment, but it cannot diminish the strength they've built together. As night settles over Thunder Basin, the sanctuary stands as a beacon of hope and discovery. Storm's journey continues to inspire and educate, showing that even the deepest wounds can heal when given the right care and understanding. His story reminds us that every creature deserves a chance at recovery, at finding their strength again. Those interested in discovering more extraordinary animal stories of survival, resilience, and the unbreakable bonds between humans and animals will find two remarkable tales waiting to be explored. These stories carry the same spirit of hope and determination that Storm's journey has demonstrated. Up next, two remarkable tales await, each one offering unique insights into the extraordinary world of animal rescue and rehabilitation. Your next adventure in discovering these inspiring stories is just moments away.